Mission Control, ready to go. Today we have with us Chip Conley, best-selling New York Times author, hospitality maverick who helped Airbnb's founders turn their fast-growing startup into a global hospitality brand. Many of you guys who are watching this video know Chip is the founder of Joie de Vivre Hospitality back in 1987. Chip recently wrote a book, Wisdom at Work, The Making of the Modern Elder. Chip, tell us a little bit about that book.
Sure. I had the good fortune, although at the time I wasn't clear it was good fortune, 7 years ago to be approached by the three founders of Airbnb. I'd run Joie de Vivre for 24 years, created 52 boutique hotels. And they needed somebody in their company who had a travel industry, hospitality background, or even an entrepreneurial and leadership background. Because they started the company when they were 24 to 26 years old. And what was fascinating about it was I had a lot to offer, but I had a lot to learn as well. Because I'd never worked in a tech company before. And Airbnb is as much a tech company, or even more of a tech company, than it is a hospitality company.
Did you know that going in? Meaning you had the interviews with the guys and you're like, wow, they're much younger. How's this dynamic going to work?
I knew they were younger, and I knew the average age in the company was 26, and I was at the time 52. But what I didn't understand is how clueless I was. And so the premise of the book is the idea that we are all not just mentors as we get older, but we're also interns. And that a modern elder is as much a curious learner as they are a wise teacher.
So how was that dynamic created, in the sense that you're saying that the power of a massive multi-billion-dollar company is really in the hands
young people.
Of young people, right?
Testament to Brian Chesky, that CEO, co-founder, who said, you know what, there's a lot of things I don't understand.
Right.
And so what Brian knew is pretty quickly there's a lot of things he had to learn. So he pulled in people like me, my focus being entrepreneurship, hospitality, leadership, and he basically relied on me. But what I had to do was to realize if I'm only going to be as good as understanding the context of where I'm trying to offer my wisdom.
Okay.
So if I didn't understand the industry or the business, I wouldn't actually necessarily know how to change it and actually articulate thoughts that might be relevant. So the problem with a lot of people as they get older is they feel irrelevant, partly because they haven't learned the new context.
Right.
If you can learn the new context, you're actually in a great place, because your curiosity opens up possibility, and your wisdom helps you to create the ability to discern and edit down what's essential.
So you wrote the book.
And
then now
created this Modern Elder Academy, which is the world's
amazing.
first midlife wisdom school. The premise is this: we're all growing older. Power in a modern digital society is moving younger.
Yep.
And the world is changing faster. So those three variables together have created a situation where there's a lot of unpredictability. And for people in midlife, which I define as 35 to 75, there's a lot of people feeling irrelevant and almost invisible.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do is take transformational travel, which has been a long-term trend, apply it to people in midlife in a business that is part hospitality, part education, part wellness. What's very clear is I think it's helped to transform some people's lives. Because there's a lot of people who feel like they paid their dues in their 20s and 30s, and in their 40s and 50s and 60s, they're just supposed to sort of like have the ability to boss everybody around.
Right.
That world doesn't exist except for in certain industries today, but not many. And the number of industries that are like that is declining. So what this means is you actually you have wisdom.
You do have.
You have built wisdom.
Right.
You sometimes don't even know it because frankly, it's so second nature to you. A lot of the wisdom relates to emotional intelligence and how to understand people. Another way to describe wisdom is pattern recognition. When you're older, I could spend time with you for 5 minutes. Won't say the word, but I could discern facial expression changes or just how you're showing up and understand what's going on inside your heart and your head. That's valuable in a world where we are so technologically defined.
Our industry, the hospitality industry, and the dynamic between a mentor and a mentee sounds like we could add a lot of value. Are you seeing areas of opportunity there?
I think the idea of the modern mentorship is a mutual mentorship.
Okay.
So with Brian Chesky, it was me as his mentor but me as his intern as well. I learned digital intelligence from him. He learned emotional intelligence from me. And I have now 5 other mentors and mentees, all CEOs in their 30s of hospitality companies that I help. How could other people do that? Well, I think in any company, look at your organization, and if in your organization you find that the power is resting mostly with older people, which is often the case in real estate and hospitality companies, ask yourself, how are you developing your younger people with mutual mentorship? Not just the old school apprenticeship of like how I'm going to actually tell that person how the world works.
Right.
No, you're going to learn how the world works from that younger person.
Right.
And you guys are going to actually create a symbiotic relationship. And that is when the magic happens.
Excellent. Chip, thank you for being with us today.
Eric. Great to be here.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. ILC is close to my heart.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.